Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since everybody's signing this sheet, let's delegate here then. We're good there. All right. Just that cheat sheet when we do roll calls. All right. Public comment. The audience will limit each person to 4 minutes if they'd like to speak before we move on to approving our meeting minutes and getting the agenda. What's that?
Sign.
That'd be you.
Oh, okay.
And you only.
Okay.
So you're.
Thank you. Hi, Elizabeth Lynch, Clinton County resident. I respect your journey throughout this whole process that started almost a year ago. I hope that you put truth, transparency, and equal access to the RFP that was sent out. I'm not asking for an answer. I just would like to know someday, was the RFP submitted to the public notice section? Or were the RFP's requests for proposals for earned income tax given just to select entities? If the requests for proposals were not publicly announced in the public notice section, I must state that I do not condone that choice. I do not support it. Thank you for this opportunity to comment, and I'm wishing you all the best of luck. Thank you.
Does anybody else want to speak from the public and put your name on here before we move on?
I just have a question, Mr. Coleman.
Yeah.
Who is your open records officer?
Well, I believe that'd be Mela.
Okay.
Yeah.
And contactable through Mela. Do you have an email address?
Yes, I do.
Just for this one? Just for the TCC?
No, I do not have one. Well, I guess, yes, I do. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I use, when I was elected, I'm using the TCC email address.
Can you get that for me? Can you
Sure.
give that to me at some point? Thank you.
Does anybody mind if I answer, Elizabeth? Even though she doesn't want to answer, I want to answer. So we reached out to a few firms. Berkheimer and Keystone were the only two that got back to us. There was a third one, I can't think of the one offhand. They did respond to us and say that they weren't going to submit a quote. They weren't established or set up or whatever. At that, I don't know, it was probably about 3-4 weeks ago. Yeah, is it J.P. Harrison? Is that
Yes,
right?
yes, it was.
Yeah. So it was those three, and I don't know if there's any else in the state of Pennsylvania currently collecting the ITs. So. Yeah, I don't know. And please keep in mind as well, I'm not going to get down that road about the process of it, but we gave the same information to everybody. They all have the same, and you're welcome to the advertisement that we put out in email, which I would gladly get that to you. So if you have any doubts about the procedure that was handled with it or whatever, but it was, same information was given to everybody, so. All right. Approval of the January 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes. Does everybody have a copy of those? So, we have a motion, need a second?
I'll second.
All right. Mela, do you want me to do roll call individually or as a whole? Which way do you prefer?
I'm used to just do that.
All right.
So
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No, it's a no. All right, old business. I think we need to discuss having a future meeting to clean up some of the other stuff we discussed at our prior meetings, such as the weight vote and the bylaws, and then also a budget for next year that we operate a little bit differently. So I know Christie's mentioned that we need to have our own bank account, and if we're going to adjust this weighted vote situation, that we need to pay accordingly, which I totally agree with. So if we're asking the school board or the school district to give up some of their power, then we need to pony up our portion and whatever we decide is fair or whatever. So,
Well, that's true even if the weighted vote doesn't change.
right.
Right now, the school district pays for every bill of the TCC. So had we put out RFPs and did the advertisement and everything like an RFP, the school district would have paid for that. The bond for the TCC committee, the school district pays for that. And advertising, meetings, advertising, the school district pays for that.
Yeah.
So the municipalities don't pitch in.
Right. Maybe that'll give us a little more responsibility and actually put an effort to. I'm just as guilty as anybody else not coming to these meetings years past, but maybe that'll help make this a little more efficient and official. So I don't know how soon we want to meet, but
I was thinking maybe September or something like that. We can get back on track after summer, but that's just my opinion.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
What did you think?
September, I agree.
I would say later in the month like this, because I think most of the municipalities are done with their meetings.
is there? I think September is a month and 5 Mondays.
Yeah.
So maybe that last Monday in September.
That's the 29th.
If I may, didn't we always meet in December for the new officers and audit and all that?
I think we'll still do that. I think this is just a fill-in deal, try and clean up some old business. And we didn't set that December meeting date yet, did we? Okay, so at the September meeting, we can set the December one then.
I'm thinking that. I think last year was the 11th, so I think that kind of worked out. It was Wednesday, but whatever.
Yeah, the
We did set
third Wednesday.
We did set it.
December 17th,
Yeah.
third Wednesday.
We didn't have
Third
any
Wednesday.
thank you.
Do we have time? Is it 6? The vote? The 29th and the 17th?
I do have the 17th and it's 6.
6, so it'll be 6 on the September 29th as well?
Everybody okay with on the 29th of September at 6 p.m.? Is that available here again, Greg?
Do we have a place for December, is it here for the December meeting?
All future meetings.
Okay.
As far as I know, right, Greg, all future meetings.
Yeah, we need a motion for September 29th at 6 p.m.
Wait, I'm sorry, who did?
Davey made the motion, Chris seconded it. Oh, the other one, sorry. Your voice is the same one.
And Dave seconded. And that was for the 9/29. Now we can do December 17th or.
That's already been set.
Okay.
It's already been set. Okay. So we're good there. That meeting will be to discuss the weighted vote and the bylaws and the budget for 2026. Okay. All right, new business. First thing on the agenda is open seal proposals for the EIT collection. So, Craig, you want?
And they were brought to me because I heard they were people.
dropped theirs off at 3:30 in the afternoon, so that's the one that here was.
I think Keystone brought theirs here tonight, correct?
I didn't see a
That's
plate
what our bid.
or a stamp or anything, so.
Yeah. We gave them that option.
Yeah.
Berkheimer's proposal, or did come back. One-time setup fee, $50,000. Years 2 through 7, a commission rate of 1.3%.
Who were you talking about, right?
This is
Berkheimer.
Who is the company?
Berkheimer.
Should we? Where's Ricky?
I'm here.
Yeah. Do you want to present first, or is that, I don't know how? Since we opened your guys' proposal.
It's up to you. Whatever you would prefer. What do you have?
Okay. Yeah. Is that, you don't have a problem with that, dude?
No, if it's okay, we should
Yeah, let's-
sequester ourselves.
Yeah. Okay.
Greg, is there somewhere we can go?
Yeah, out that hallway there.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Jason, you go inside.
I'm glad they offered that, because I thought this would be weird to
Yeah.
present in front of your.
I don't,
So,
I'm
I've
gonna,
done worse, so it's okay.
I know,
It's all right.
I thought about that when,
I'm gonna say. it's
Rick,
not
when you said you wanted to present, I'm thinking,
It's not
this is
the
gonna be a
first
little
rodeo.
awkward, but that,
You can come off.
Well,
that works out.
Unfortunately, it's professional services.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be the cost. Lowest cost doesn't necessarily mean that makes a decision. It's a lot more that goes
It's a-
into it.
Package deal, yeah.
Maybe we should hear from both of them and then go to executive session.
That's, I asked Greg if we could have an executive to discuss, but I don't think, it's not for legal
I don't think
matters.
that's kosher.
Kyle, may we hear their rate and then leave when they present? Is that possible?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Greg, do we have to turn this TV on too, or if they do?
There you go. You're good, Chad.
This one's on, I don't think that one's on. This is what they ran into earlier. You mind if I stand on the chair like they did earlier to turn on the TV?
I don't file the workers' comp claims.
There you go, we need.
That's the chair of our safety committee. Yeah,
There we
it's,
go.
I think that,
Chad, here we go.
I don't know where the
On
button
the
is.
other end,
That'd be tall.
Is it?
the other end on
I
top.
do for the school, and I would say no.
My wife's an
It's on.
insurance agent, so I think I'm covered. She's gonna, oh, perfect. Thank you. Now this one's on? Really? Hey, can you work your magic again? Hit the alternate button on the other one? Probably on this side.
You know what I mean? Right.
Did that one shut off now?
No. No.
Are we good? We're good. All right.
That's why
I
said
appreciate it.
that.
Should be coming out. Went off again?
Yeah,
Did that one go off too?
yeah, looks like it.
All right, that's probably why it's not going up. I don't know a better way to do this.
Oh,
There we go. They both up?
There you go.
Yes,
Slow.
yes.
Okay. Where do we want to stand? Actually, can I ask that question? Where would you all like us to stand so that we can, do you want us to stand in the back or the front? I just want to be able to address everybody.
Wherever you're
We're all
comfortable.
good up here, so it's their choice.
Okay. Are we good back here? That way we can kind of see everybody? Is that okay? I don't want to walk, I mean, I can, it's hot in this suit, so I apologize. So, first and foremost, I just want to thank everybody that came out tonight, especially for your time. I do appreciate it. I know that this is a big decision for you, and we put a lot of time and effort in this, and I hope it comes across with that. The one thing that I'll always tell everybody is we do at the end have a question and answer slide, but please, if you see something and you want to elaborate more, ask us. That's why the four of us are here. We're here for you. We're here to answer any of the unanswered questions. And I know the RFP has a lot of details in it. We try to put a synopsis together for this. So again, thank you for your time this evening. And like I said, please interrupt anytime you need. So to start, I promise that it looks like a lot more than the actual content that we have. I just slated it out. We have about 18 slides for you tonight, with about 15 that actually have information on it for you pertaining to what's in the proposal. If there's anything else that's up there that you would like us to talk about, please let us know. We'll start out with some intros. We'll go through the commission program. We'll talk about some of the transitions that we expect, numbers that we feel might matter to you, give you some examples of past history, talk about data, what delinquent programs might be able to do for you. Security and compliance is really about who we are, what we do. Some complementary services that we want to offer all of the individual PSDs that it's available to. And then kind of talk through everything of all the financial incentives on one slide. Before I move on, is there anything else that you would like us to cover?
Not covered, but question.
Yes.
Since it's gonna be up there, is it personal for you guys, or can I take a picture of the slide?
You can absolutely take a picture, and then after this, if you would like, you could request to Rick, and we'll send you the presentation.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
That's fine for me. You know, everything's the same that you'll see in the RFP, so happy to share that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So introductions. This is our first slide. So Michelle.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for the opportunity to present. We're very happy to be here, and we appreciate the time. My name is Michelle Marshall. I've been with Berkheimer for 27 years. I began in the customer care department, and I worked through the earned income tax department and delinquent, and I've served as vice president from 2004 to 2024, and now I have the honor of being president. Aside from that, on a personal note, I love to spend time with my new grandbaby and gardening, and your mountains are beautiful. So thank you for your time.
Good afternoon or good evening. My name is Rick Stover, and I'm a client development executive for Berkheimer, as well as the liaison for statewide tax recovery in Berkheimer. And I'll get to that later in our presentation. I've been in the financial management arena for a little over 40 years. Got out of college, into banking, upstate New York, working for some lending institutions. Came back home to Lewisburg and worked for a collection agency. Started with statewide tax recovery about 9 years ago. Got involved with tax advisory, collections, etc. We partnered about a year and a half ago with Berkheimer, and I've been with them a little over a year. You're my client, hopefully, and I've spent some time up in your county. I've been up here previously quite a bit. Back in 1975, it came up, we beat Baldy the Nittany, so I'm out of that. So, but I appreciate a few moments of your time, and I'm just you to Chad or Bill.
Bill, please.
Good evening. My name is Bill Leonard. I'm been with Berkheimer since 1977. Berkheimer is approaching its 90th year in business next year. Sometimes it feels like I've been with them from the beginning, but I haven't. And I've been in the tax collection business since 1975. I started doing the earned income tax, LST, business privilege, all those different taxes. I am currently living in Mill Creek Township in Erie County, and then the district manager Director of Sales and Marketing for Berkheimer. I moved to Erie in 1981 to help develop the West. So I'm here to kind of be the hands-on tax. I started in tax preparation, doing manual tax returns, and just moved right up through the company. So I have a couple, if there's questions about taxes, I know pretty much the hands-on client services portion of this presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you again. And my name is Chad Pulaski. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for Berkheimer. I've been here a little over 2.5 years. Prior to that, I spent a lot of time with a company called Iron Mountain. Spent a ton of time there. I worked for a couple software companies as well. Born and raised in the state of Pennsylvania. Still live in the state of Pennsylvania with my wife and my 3 kids that keep me very busy outside of work with sports every single weekend. So always been a resident of Pennsylvania and came across Berkheimer. And unlike Michelle and Bill, I'm a newbie, so I do look at them for a lot of the tax information, but I am here to answer any questions that I can. So appreciate your time again. Going into it, so just as a background, who is Berkheimer? So I know a lot of people know the name, a lot of people may not know everything of who we are. We are a family-owned business. We're approaching 90 years next year. So there has been a lot of growth, always in the state of Pennsylvania. A couple things that we are constantly hanging our hat on as an organization. We're a culture of constant improvement. And what I mean by that is we're constantly looking at how do we improve our relations with our clients, with our constituents. How do we make our programs better? How do we make them easier? Everything from access to reporting to, getting information in a timely manner. I think, that's really important to us. I don't know if there's anything anybody wants to add about that.
Yeah, I will. Being, as Chad, the newbie to Berkheimer, I've come from the delinquent tax collection side. And what is interesting with Berkheimer, and you'll see on the screen a number of subsidiaries, Berk One, Credit Tech, Berk HR. I've had the opportunity and the privilege to be able to learn about assisting outside entities in reference to digital management, and I just want to reach out with Credit Tech and say to you, we are well-rounded. We can offer your townships. I can come out. I can offer the city, the township, for instance, with Credit Tech. It's a collection agency. And Credit Tech will collect delinquent municipal debt that you may have. Code debt, delinquent trash, delinquent sewer, water, print and mail billings. We can do that, and I would love to. I would love to come out and just counsel with you and talk to you and find out what your needs are, if any, and see if we can put something together. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of our culture, what we're trying to do, and lay that out to you.
And I just wanted to make a quick point that our culture is sprinkled throughout each one of those companies. There are several employees that were here when Mr. B, when Berkheimer was here, and remember the stories and the mentorship that he provided to us. And that you'll see throughout each company. And whenever we have a new client or a new need or a priority or a challenge, those companies band together and everybody works together to bring the best foot forward. So there's a lot of confidence in that group.
Yeah, moving on, in the middle you'll see outstanding NPS scores. So the NPS score is Net Promoter Score. It's a flat line that comes from our clients. It comes from a third party that does this for us, and they poll all of our clients just to ask, would you recommend Berkheimer to your friends, to your family, to your coworkers, to other organizations? Since I got here, it was something that I instilled because I wanted to understand what our clients thought of us, and we're in the top category. And what has been really interesting is as we've changed some of the things like being proactive with our clients, working with them more hands-on, attending, smaller meetings than just the TCC meetings, our Net Promoter Score is actually going above. Where in the most recent one that we got in the category that's considered the Holy Grail. It's the top category that you can get. So we do promote that. We do talk about that because it's not something that's coming from us. It's something that's coming from our clients that we do really well for them, and they do love the service that we promote to them. And then the last thing that you kind of see up there is multiple facilities across PA. We have 20 plus current facilities across the state of Pennsylvania, throughout the entire state. We will talk about it in the conversation, but as you see listed, there's one to be added in Clinton if you would choose so. We always talk to our clients about the best way to service them, and if a client requires a in-county facility, we're happy to oblige by that. So that's a little bit about us. Any questions?
Will adding a facility in Clinton change the rate of collection?
Nope. So speaking of rates, so the setup and commission program, I know that's the most important thing that everybody likes to talk about. We did build out a 7-year program, and we started year one as a setup fee with 0%, as you see across the board for every year, 0% delinquent fee. So that means we get no commission if we collect delinquents for you. We get our fees through the delinquent schedule to the constituent themselves. When it comes to the current rate, the first year we put a setup fee of $50,000. So that's a little bit different than maybe what you've seen in the past or what people are offering. But I know the one thing that reading and understanding a little bit about the area is financials are really important to you. And to us, we wanted to make sure that whatever program we utilize and kind of come to paper with, it gives you the most amount of money in your pockets. That first year fee is really for us to kind of lift all the work, take over everything that we do, and we'll talk about that transition plan. But it's a flat fee of $50,000, and we did build it out, and I have a financial package that I can hand out to you that's based off the current weighted average. So I did hear that you might change that weighted average, but what we did was we took what was on the DCED website, took all that weighted average, and then we delegated the $50,000 to it. And the way that we would collect that in year one would be the exact same way that you would do a commission, except we collect up to that $50,000 at each PSD, and then it stopped. So the total collection that we would have for year one as a commission rate would be a $50,000 flat rate. After that, it would be 1.3%.
So if we choose to change the way to vote starting January 1st and the new reports filed with DCD, would you use that way to vote or our current way to vote that we currently have?
Whatever you would choose. So we would build it to suit. And what I mean by that is, let's say the school district, I know I heard what you said, let's say the school district is offering to pick up that whole tab, we could just send it all to the school district and collect the commission from them. Or if you want it full equally, it can go to everybody. So again, we took it, we kind of just ran with it based off of what you have. But whatever you would decide is the way that we would collect that rate. On the bottom, the one thing that I wanted to point out is your projected 5-year savings. So the way that we projected the 5-year savings for you, it's based off of what your current expense rate is from the collector. So I did read different things that it might be at 5%, it might be at different rates, but based off of using your audits that have been filed, what I looked at was your total collection, what your expense was, came up with an average over the past 5 years of about 3.5%. Took that cost based off of what we had, and we came up with a $2.78 million, roughly $3 million more in your pocket. Any questions? Berkheimer transition guarantee. So we do understand that for everybody, making a change is hard, it's difficult. Part of those things is making sure that we get everything set up correctly, making sure that we work with you. And one of the things that's always in the back of people's minds, at least from what we've learned and what we know from the extensive experience that we have, is that people are reluctant to do it because they're afraid of having an off year. So in order to combat that, that's why we did that lower initial rate, that flat rate. But we also want to provide a guarantee. And our guarantee is a 2-year guarantee. So what we're saying is whatever your collection ends this year in 2025, we will collect 5% more for you in 2026, and then another 5% on top of that against 2025 in 27. And if we don't hit that growth rate for you, we will forego up to our entire commission of year 2. So that 1.3% commission rate, if we don't get you that 5% growth in year 1 and 5% growth on top of that compared to 25, we'll forego the commission.
Wow.
Any questions on that?
Is that in your proposal?
It is in our proposal. Yep. All of those sections are in our proposal. And The only thing that's not in there that I'll give you is the weighted average that we came out with, just because I know that might be important. Investing in your community. We did hear and we did see, and I believe the newspaper did talk about that, it's about keeping people in your community employed. And part of what I said earlier is if you choose so and you would like us to, we would be happy to set up a facility working with the group to figure out where is a centralized place for you. And we'd allow all current tax employees to interview for those positions that we would need. So, it's about investing in your community. It's about keeping revenue in your community. We become a part of your community. We're an employer now of your community, and we're paying people in your community. So everything that you're trying to give up, we're also enhancing by investing in it. I don't know if anybody else would like to chime in on this one.
I was just going to say that taxpayers have different means to communicate and preferences, and some are through email, some through the call center, but some still like the live touch, the touch point. And we have plenty of offices, and we know people by name. They come in, they tell us, how they're doing. We establish a relationship, and we'd like to do the same. That's our commitment to the community. We're growing here, we're working here together. We think that that's an appropriate step to take. So we just wanted to present that opportunity to the board today.
How would that office be paid for? Out of your 1.3%?
Yes.
And one of the reasons that we do that as well is we do have other clients in and around Clinton County. And if they need a tax office and they don't have one, they can come there. The tax office isn't just solely there, for Clinton. It can help anybody that's passing through, anybody that's nearby as well. So that's why we continue to do that and continue to invest in that with our clients.
And the office would be for more than just EIT collection as well. It would be real estate, anything that you guys would collect.
Yep.
For our area.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that this proposal is for EIT, but should any of the PSDs sign up for any other types of taxes, we would happily service them there. Anything else? The seamless transition of Berkheimer. So as I alluded to before, we don't want you to make you feel like it's a big burden, because it's not meant to be. In the bottom right corner, you'll see that we do all the work, and that's the most important thing. But there are different things that we go through, and I'm going to pass this one on because this is not the forte, and Michelle will ask you to kind of speak on this one.
During Act 32, I had the pleasure to be the transitional officer for all the different areas, the 32 TCDs that came with us, gave us the honor to be our clients. And we had a transition team. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit what would happen in this scenario. You would have a sole point of contact, and that sole point of contact will guide you through the process. You will have a transitional packet that will give you up front what's going to happen, so you have it. But that person will be with you throughout the entire journey, and they will ask for information like tax roll information, like let's say forms like the ACH setup forms, confidentiality forms, all those different things. We will provide boilerplate templates for you for if there's any resolutions that you need to pass. And we will be there through the entire process. Questions, if you want status updates. And once we get those records, then we have another process, right? We verify, we scrub the records, and we make sure that we do an educational campaign. And that's simply because, life is in flux. People move in, people move out, things happen. So we just want to make sure that when we do these contacts that we're doing them to the most updated information. And we have that verification system, so that way if something happened in between, we get that update and we update our records, our statuses are correct. And we do all of this before the first quarter, so there's no interruption in the flow of your collections. Once all that happens, the client service department will continue to reach out at different points. They'll want to talk to you about ways that we can maximize collections. Sometimes it's we send out alphabetical listings so that way we can be on the same page as far as the employers that are in the area. If anybody new has moved in, anybody has moved out, and we work together along in the process. After that, we also have other services that you can take take advantage of. We have budget projections when you're doing your budgets and you're planning ahead for the year ahead. If you have questions, or if you need a budget projection, we'll be happy to prepare that for you. Also, if you have anything, like you want a projection to see, what's the impact of a particular employer moving in and moving out, we'll be happy to do that. We also have an electronic portal that will actually update your end of month reporting. It'll have all your audit information. It'll have notifications. So if you want to sign up for that, we'll be happy to assist with that setup. But at the end of the day, as Chad said, we will do all the work, and we will be there to guide and to answer any questions that you have.
And to, excuse me, to follow up on what Michelle said about the transition packet, that goes out to each PSD. So each municipality and the school district will receive this packet, and each municipality and the school district will have a confidential contact and the ACH, so that the deposits will be made directly to your particular account. If you use Pliget or PZLAF, we deposit directly into those accounts for you. The ACH notification form, it's very simple to be filled out, and as Michelle said, we can help you with that. The reporting through the client portal, or I call it the dashboard, is with the confidential contact, and you can have multiple confidential contacts for each PSD or the school, and including the school district, so that you can set those up, and each day that we make a deposit, you will get an ACH notification via email, and you can print those or download those ACHs for your control of it. Also, at the end of the month, we provide you with an invoice, even though we're going to be deducting commission, or as Chad said, if we're appointed the first year, however we work that 50,000 out, you'll get an invoice each month, and on that invoice, it's going to show you each distribution. At the end of the year, all the Act 32 requirements for reports, Act 32 annual report, those are available. Any type of report, as I said before, it will be 90 years that will be in business next year. Any type of report that you need or want, it will be available. We either have done it for somebody else, or we can provide those on request. You can either request it through Rich, myself, anybody in our client services department, but also on the client portal, you're able to put in a request for a report. Some reports that are, I see used a lot are like a wage bracket analysis. If you're looking for some grants or anything like that, we can do a wage bracket analysis of each PSD or for the whole school district to show you how many people make X number of dollars, below 5,000, and then each $1,000 bracket thereof will tell you the total number of people in that wage bracket. Won't say their names or any Social Security confidential information, but it will give you that general form. So those are some of the other reports that we do. A stateless comparison, and I may be jumping ahead here, but with these three, we don't really have a lot of time to talk, so when I get a chance, I'm going to do it. We do a stateless comparison, and I don't know if you currently do that. It's a report that's put out by the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue. It's usually 2 years behind. What we do is we take that report and we match it up to the individuals that filed returns. And if there's a discrepancy that was filed for Pennsylvania as opposed to the local, then we send a letter out asking the taxpayer to identify what that was, because there's certain things that appear on the Pennsylvania state return. If you're self-employed, it's on line 4 on the state return. It's taxable, but if you're an S corp, it's not taxable on the local level. So we need to find that information out. There's also for the school district, it's the Sterling Act credit. We do Sterling Act credit. Sends you the information, how many people had earnings in Philadelphia, what the withholdings were. So when you file your report December 15th, that information will be available in November so that you know if there isn't. And surprisingly, even like in Erie County, Lawrence County, some of the areas that I'm responsible for, there's people that have Philadelphia Sterling Act taxes withheld. So as a school district, they're entitled to get a credit on half of the 1% that was withheld. So those are a couple other things I just wanted to add, and that's it. Sorry.
Appreciate it, Bill. Yeah, thank you.
I have a question. You said about you could do a report on the income.
Wages, right?
City of Lock Haven wants to apply for a grant. One of the things that they have to have is how many people are below, within the city, are below the certain income. You could give that to them?
Yes. Yeah, we could give that wage bracket report. It's I think it's the first line is below 5,000, and then each increment is usually 1,000, and then as it gets up into the higher levels, it might go 10,000. You'll be able to see every wage bracket. And there's also a report that we can run, say for the city, if they want to do a block grant, and they want to take, and I'm not familiar with the city, so I apologize, but a section of the city, like 5 streets, and we can go and we can run a report with wages so that you could do, like for Department of Community and Economic Development, a lot of times they want to know what's a specific income in an area. We can run a report that shows that with the name or the location and the amount of earned income in that area. So
thank you.
Multiple reports that we can do.
All right. From that, so it's great that you can talk about it, but what does the experience show? One of the great things about Berkheimer is we are a do-it type company, and we're all in it together. I was not here for this, but when Centex ran into some issues, all of the Centex clients transitioned to Berkheimer. It was 10 TCDs that Berkheimer transitioned in 90 days. The thing that sticks out to me when I hear the stories, and I hear them from John Berkheimer and from our prior president Patty and from Michelle and from Bill and everybody else, was that within a week of that being ruled that way, we had the records picked up, scanned, deposits, and we were actually providing money and doing disbursements to the TCCs within 1 week. And to me, that speaks volumes. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about this. I'll let the two that were here for that kind of chime in, but that to me just sticks out the most.
Yeah, it was a tense time. There were budgets, there were police departments and fire departments that were running out of funding. We had a good relationship with Centex, and they picked up the phone and they let us know what was happening. We flew out there, we picked up the records, we brought them back, we brought back supplemental reference information, work in progress. We called an all hands meeting, and like Chad said, we all banded together, and within a week we started distributions again. There have been several employees from Centex that have come to Berkheimer, and they are doing great. They're in management positions and they've flourished. So, we're all in it together, local taxes, regardless of area, regardless of tax collector, and I think that was an opportunity for us to shine. So we're proud of that. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Real quick, is everybody familiar with Central Tax Bureau that has heard their name? And they were an agency like us in Keystone, and they had I think they had 12 tax collection committees that they were appointed to. And if you all know that Act 32 was effective on January 1st, 2012, by March, Centex was starting to fail, and they went into receivership. So it was quite a mess to be use some other words in a different company, but it was a real mess. And they ended up losing all their business, going belly up, so to speak, and we stepped in, and as Michelle said, And I was one of the ones that we flew out or I drove down to Pittsburgh, picked up the records, and in March they had the fourth quarter or first quarter returns, boxes and boxes and boxes of them with checks that they weren't able to deposit. So it was a real fiasco. So anyway.
Numbers that matter to you. So part of who we are, we have 32 current EIT collection programs that we do across the state. We collect over $2 billion in local tax dollars that administer with 2.47 million active taxpayers. In 2024, we collected over $600,000 for instant reciprocation for you. Part of what you get with us if you do choose us and select us is our ability to distribute up to 2 times a week. So we don't want to hold your money. We want to get it to you as fast as possible. So we distribute it to you as fast as we can, twice a week. We have a total of 550 employees with 50 plus dedicated client care reps. And that's really important because that's the team that assists you behind the scenes. That's also the team that will assist your constituents. There's 100 on-demand phone support agents are the ones that really support your constituents. And then, of course, you have a dedicated client management team. Rick is a part of that team. There are some others that are out there. They do come out. They do meet with you. Part of that is to do budget projections. Part of that is to talk about some of the goals that you're looking for at the PSD level, at the TCC level. And part of what we do is we process $859 million in electronic payments as well. So as Michelle alluded to earlier, all of our taxpayers pay differently. We want to make sure we give them as much ability and much opportunity to pay the way that they want to. And Michelle's with the instant reciprocation, it's also...
The other point is that there's a monthly filers, so if you're a corporation, you do have the ability, and you have multiple locations, you have the ability to choose the collector if you're not headquartered in a jurisdiction that has the tax. So that if let's say your headquarters are out of state, and most of those employers choose Berkheimer. And Bill has an example of one of the employers that.
Right, and as Michelle said, like with UPMC, they're headquartered in Pittsburgh, so they file each quarter or the employer files on a monthly basis. UPMC with the city of Pittsburgh. The city of Pittsburgh in turn disperses the money out to if there's any UPMC employees here. They disperse it out. Walmart is located in Bentonville, Arkansas, and so they have obviously multiple locations throughout the state. And they decided to file monthly, so they file with Berkheimer. They pick Berkheimer to file with them on a monthly basis. So we get the money from Walmart on a monthly basis, and by the 15th of the following month, we disperse it out to each tax collection district for each individual that lives in that district that works for Walmart. So that's an example of an out-of-state and an in-state monthly filing.
Our past tax season. So one of the things that we pride ourselves in is that we're always available and always there to help all of your constituents, which is who you serve. So for us this past tax season, the big thing that we want to point out is that we were on phones with a lot of taxpayers, making sure they had the right forms, making sure they were following right. We had 5,829 calls answered. We had 2,000 plus taxpayers that we helped in person. That's why the in-person areas are so important. 2,638 emails that we responded to. We uploaded since 1/29 before the end of tax season 17,219 documents. So our systems are up and running, and we give digital access to a lot of people. We had 71,304 returns filed online. One of the things that's right there in the middle, and it's really important to you, is we have 0 system outages. So if you go across the state and you talk to some other areas, you might find out that they do have system outages because their systems go down. We have redundancy. We have everything backed up for us. We also have game plans should anything occur, but in 90 plus years, our systems have never went down. And that's fantastic because that means that when your constituents go to file, when your constituents come to us, we're available to them with all the different ways that they have.
And one thing too is We've had our website for quite a while, and we're kind of happy. Maybe I'll announce it. We've been working on a new website, new, bigger and better, so to speak. It's going to be go live, I believe, this week.
Yeah.
So, and that's with the old system that we didn't have any issues, and hopefully with the new one, we're not going to have them either.
One of the things that Rick talked to you about that we wanted to bring to your attention, because we do feel that, we do help a lot of our clients get off on the right foot. Plus, we did have a partnership with Statewide, and one of the things that came up with Statewide, and we are working with them, is that they had some challenges that they had to overcome. They had a fragmented process of doing collections, they had inconsistent garnishments, and they had varied client needs requiring flexible approaches. We came in and we put together our operation efficiencies, kind of taught them some things to do. We partnered with them, we helped them out. A matter of fact, we went through a whole process, and Rick came over with their collection side, CCA. And Rick, I don't know if you want to chat about anything with that.
Sure, absolutely. Just a brief, quick case study, and I promise it'll be brief. We at Statewide Tax Recovery, we located in Sunbury, we are small, and we had been in business for 50 years and really didn't have much of a change in our operation. It just it was send out collection letters, and we had probably 18, 20 collectors answering phones, and it was just kind of archaic. And the partnership, we had a breath of fresh air come in and change our processes, along with we were doing garnishments on delinquent taxes, per capita and occupation assessment taxes are the two personal taxes in which we collected for Statewide. And we were sending out garnishments and they weren't working, people were leaving. So partnering with Berkheimer, we were able to access there are 32 districts where our school districts and our municipalities and our counties were sitting in, and we were able to get into their tax rolls, pull out employment information, and do successful wage garnishments. And in essence, what it is, we look back a year, and our revenue increased by using the Berkheimer method, the Berkheimer way. Our revenue increased 103% in 1 year. So using that scenario, the results are there, and I just look forward to just a continued relationship between Statewide and Berkheimer.
Moving on, Bill did talk about a lot of this, why data matters, so I'm not going to dive into this, but what I wanted to tell everybody is, if there's something out there that we collect on, something that we document, which is pretty much everything, we can provide reporting to you and we can provide the data to you. It's your data. We just manipulate it and we put it out in the format that you want, that you can access, that you can read, that you can kind of request. So that's why that's there. Bill talked about a lot of the reports that we go into, but yeah, just wanted to kind of reiterate that. One of the big things that we did want to talk about and focus on, though, is delinquent programs for your benefit. So going through your past audits and looking at everything, as a whole, the county is very light on delinquents compared to what we normally see. And I don't know if that's accurate or not, right? I'm just going off of your audits, so you can absolutely tell me differently. But delinquents are really important when you go into it. But when push comes to shove and reality is there, current collections should be your top priority, because $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. So yes, we have a lot of delinquent programs that you can read about. We do all kinds of different things for tax roll maintenance. We do legal civil complaints. We look at delinquents as a revenue generator for you, and we constantly invest in that. But we are always looking at current, because we want to get you as much of your money as quick as we can. So when we are out there, when we talk about changing our ways, investing money, we do it on both sides. But as you can see, we are always looking at the current collection process, and we like getting that as high as possible for everyone. And then the rest, yeah, we do go after it and does supplement it, but everything that you get, and the majority should always come from current. There is one area out there that we do differently than anybody else, and that's companionation. Do you mind talking about that, Michelle?
Companionation is a program that we developed internally, and it is to identify garnishments, and we've developed a program around that. The one thing I do want to say though is that it's not a static situation, right? Taxpayers have different needs. They have different situations in life, and sometimes they need different treatments, right? So we send out notices as a matter of communication, so we can stay in touch and be able to understand what's happening, what's changing. Sometimes somebody needs a payment plan. Somebody needs a nudge phone call. Sometimes it's another notice. Sometimes it's we've exhausted everything and a garnishment is more appropriate. Sometimes it's legal follow-up. We do that to make sure that we are trying to be effective at the recovery today, but also to bolster that current collection, and compliance. So we believe that if we have positive relationships and somebody's really open to communicating with us, that will go further, and that we will, just be more effective at recovery. So that's what we try. We try all those approaches, but we try to manage them based on what the situation is.
The one thing that I want to point out about that is we can either ramp up or ramp down the delinquent program based on what you would prefer. So some of our clients like us to be very aggressive. Other of our clients like us to be a lot more pulled back and say, hey, let's go through the notice series, let's do it differently. So we build it with what you're confident and comfortable at the TCC level. Security and compliance. So one of the big things that we do always think about when we think about us as a whole, and it's part of the reason that we've had 0 outages, we keep everything on-prem. So all of our systems are in-house, on-prem. All the security is locked down. We're SOC 2 compliant. We have full backup policy and redundancy within the state of Pennsylvania. We have a safe e-file module. We're SOC 1 audited every year. We're SOC 2 certified and get recertified every year. We follow all DCED state and regulations. So we understand that it's private information, and we don't ever want to let that get out. So we treat that information like it's our own, and we make sure all the security protocols are in there. To the point that I can tell you firsthand, some of them are very aggravating, like changing my password every 45 days drives me insane, but it's part of what we do. Or if I'm traveling outside of the area and I don't notify IT, I don't have access to anything. So it is very much locked down. We have the strictest protocols that I've been a part of my entire career, and I was part of a massive information governance company that just held all that information, and we're a lot stricter than them. So for me, I think it does matter, and I think it's important, for you that the information that you provide to us, information you taxpayers provide to us, it is safe and it is under lock and key. The last thing that we kind of wanted to talk to before we get into the last side of the financials, and this is what I alluded to earlier, one of the things that we have at Berkheimer is we have a multitude of experience in our different companies. And one of the things that we've been doing in going out, and Rick has been doing a great job of this, and Bill has been doing a great job of this, is we've been working with PSDs everywhere from township, municipalities, boroughs, also school districts, TCCs themselves, and other entities, and we've been helping them on their digital transformation journey. And that's different for every entity that's out there. And we wanted to offer complimentary consulting services for you, either as a whole, that we tell everybody that they can join at the TCC level for all the PSDs to talk about, kind of what we're seeing out there across the state, but then also an additional one-on-one service. So we'd be happy to come out to each PSD, talk to you about where you're at, some of the things that we see, some of the unconsidered challenges that you might not be thinking about. And I just want to throw this out there. This is not meant for you to say, hey, we're going to go with you. It's meant to say, hey, we're experts in this, and we want to be a partner with you across everything that we can do. So if you're interested in it, we'd be happy to help. And that's what that's there for. And it's just complimentary if you choose to. You don't have to, but we wanted to throw it out there as an opportunity for you. And then lastly is the financial incentives. So this is the culmination of everything that you see on one slide. So I'll go over it line by line, and if you have questions, let me know. So going back to the Berkheimer guarantee, we expect 10% growth in total between 26 and 27 over your 2025, or we'll make up with up to our full year 2 commission. Your delinquent growth rate. So as I said before, I was looking at your audits, and your delinquent collections looked very low. We feel with a good delinquent program out there that is running, that you can produce $250,000 or more a year in delinquent revenue coming in. The way that we based that on was looking at other TCDs out there that we do collect for. We looked at what their current collection volume was, and then we looked at what the delinquent collection volume was, and then we took an average of that. So we took all of the ones that we had over the past 5 years, any collection over 8 million, any collection under 13 million, and you come up with an average about $285,000 in delinquent collections per year. So we feel that you could produce that. We expect you to have some revenue gain from a lower commission rate than what you're paying right now. Could be closer to 3 million over 7 years or extended, offering those consulting services that we did, and then offering that local office that we'd be happy to put in somewhere in Clinton with working with you. And then 2 things that I wanted to point out at the end. You have a 0% delinquent fee. So all of those delinquent rates or the money that we pull in, we take no commission on. So we only get paid commission on current rates. And then lastly, we are planning to cover all postage. So now where the school district has to cover the postage to send out all those notices and all those items, Berkheimer is going to take that on for you. And we feel over a 7-year time frame that we'd be able to put $5 million of revenue in your pocket by doing so. And then now just Q&A, if you have any. Yep. Okay.
You're talking about if you were picked, you'd be putting an office here in this county. What's your time frame on
On the office?
that? Yeah.
We would work with you to understand what the best location would be, what's centralized, where it would be best suitable for you. And then we would start looking in that area to set up a lease to get in there. And then we would start interviewing any of the employees that would want to stay on. So we could start doing that right away, or we could start it later. It all depends on when you really want to transition. Talking to other entities, some do want us to transition right away. Some want us to wait till the beginning of the year. So it really would depend on your time frame. But if you select us and you wanted us to, we could start tomorrow if you wanted us to.
I'm just curious because I know a lot of people have asked, am I still going to be able to take care of my taxes here? That's been a big question.
Yep.
Are you guys involved with Keystone Central right now in any dealings?
What do you mean involved, like that we work with them?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Not that I know of, right? And you're talking about the school district, correct?
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, we are.
No.
Okay. What about audits?
In reference to what?
Or say if the TCC chose you folks, are
Yep.
you going to do an audit to see where we are, make sure we're up to speed, or you pretty well got an eyeball already?
Do you mean once we take over like the records, like
Yeah.
where, yeah, we would sit down together to understand, where the collections, what, if you finalize your quarterly collections, part of that transition packet is gonna have a step-by-step guide as to when we're gonna do Q1, and then we're gonna work our way backwards and understand what's happening today, and then work together on that.
Okay.
We also provide an annual audit of our collections. So if we're appointed, say, starting in January of 26, at the end of 26, usually by March or April of the following year, we provide an audit, pay for an audit from Baker and Tilley that audits our collections for Clinton County Tax Collection Committee.
Okay.
We also provide a SOC 1 report, which is the systems and operations and controls, and that Baker Tilly also does that for us. And that's our internal, as Chad had mentioned, about all of our password changes, people walking in the building, whatever. It's that extra audit that we do.
If these guys use Baker Tilly for auditing, and we use it too, could that be considered a conflict of interest with the school district?
The school district? No, because they would be auditing our work,
Okay.
not the school district.
We would be two separate entities.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
I just have something, I was talking to our secretary. When you send the checks, will you sit down and say, hey, we send it, blah, blah, blah? Or can you send it once a month?
By all means, Bill.
You're asking when we collect money for you, okay?
And then you send it to like the borough?
Correct. What we do is we're gonna avoid paper checks. We're gonna have the ACH, so you'll get a direct deposit into your account, and then each day when that deposit is made, your confidential contact, if it's your secretary or manager or whoever, will get an email notification that X number of dollars was put into your bank account this today for earned income tax. And if we're doing other taxes, you'll get a separate notification. You can use the same account, your same bank account, but you'll get a separate notification for each tax that we deposit that day. Normally, the minimum that we send a transfer of monies is monthly, depending on the amount of money that we have collected and the month of the year too, because the first quarter is due the end of March, so the month of April, January, February, March, it's due the end of April. So that month of June is really a heavy with employers, and so there's some like a larger entity like the school district might get 2 or 3 a week, and smaller ones will still get at least minimum monthly, but we try to get them at least once a week, once or twice a week.
She only wants it once a month.
She only wants it once a month, is what she was saying.
Well, our system is set up that if it reaches over a certain amount of money, we transfer, and it's very seamless. It'll go right into your account, so you don't have to worry about taking a check to the bank, mailing, everything like that. It'll go right into your account. You'll get the notification. Your bank may notify you also, but you'll get the notification from us. And if you want to just leave it there and don't do anything with it till the end of the month, that's your option.
As a check.
Are you looking for a 1 year, 5 year, 7 year contract?
We initially proposed a 7-year, but we would work with 3 or 5. A 1-year contract is kind of tough because it's to get set up. I think the minimum would be 3 or 5.
With the way that we put it out, the 7-year, with the initial, just a flat rate and some of the guarantees, that's why it's there for the 7-year, because we wanted to give you the best ability to get the most income from it and from our collection services, so we did propose the 7-year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I have one. The projections that you offered, are those based on moderate or aggressive collection practices? Do you have numbers for other methods or other choices?
So in regards for what other choices? Sorry,
For like moderate collection methods.
So
I'm assuming that was based on aggressive.
No, it's not based off aggressive. It's based off of what the current trends are with that, and then what we've done in the past with similar TCC collections.
Okay.
So it's based off of what their overall growth pattern has been the past 5 years at Clinton, and then the number that we have, if you're asking about the overall revenue generated to them or putting more money in their pocket, that's based off of the difference from what their current expense rate is versus our collection rate over the 7-year time frame, and then adding in the delinquent revenue program. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Elizabeth has a question.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm not a TCC delegate,
That's okay.
okay, so I just wanna.
Yep.
I am a Keystone Central School District Board member, but I am not here as a Keystone Central School District Board member, okay?
Okay.
So, I've been involved with this on the periphery since last August. And I will say this, I believe it was mentioned, maybe it was Delegate Scaff, mentioned that having a face here in Clinton County is very important because we have a very large and growing Amish population. And of course, there are other people that like face-to-face. So, I am not a delegate, but I am a Keystone Central School District Board member. With that said, it's up to the TCC delegates to make up their decision on the face-to-face and putting it into the contract or not. Me personally, as a citizen, and from what other people have said to me, yes, I completely support a face here and jobs here in Clinton County. With that said, if it's okay with TCC to let the school board member know whether or not you want us to approach Keystone Central School District for a potential location option. Because they do have locations and they are currently have a program with another company. So, be that as it may, it's their decision. But I just want to let you know, thank you very much. This is much more competitive than it was a few months ago.
This is a joke, but for being from Waterbury Township, I'd maybe like to speak now about leasing some office space.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Got from the city.
So we'll probably don't we're gonna get.
So, but I'm just
kidding.
I know, I'm just putting it. You have lots of options. It's
I will
your
say the
decision.
face-to-face thing. That Greg and I were talking about this before, and I this stuff is new to me. I have a financial background, but not with this stuff. But Christy, like the EIT aspect of it, how much of it is face-to-face with people coming in, or is it more realistic?
You want to answer? Noelle's our tax office supervisor.
Oh, sorry.
She helped a lot of people
For EIT, or is it for real estate or something else?
for all taxes.
Okay.
We have people come in for business privilege. Not so many come in for LST unless they're also paying their employer quarterlies. But during tax season, the hallway is lined up. I mean, you have people that, older people, younger people, Amish. Sometimes we get high school kids that come over because they found out they had to file, and then they had to file, so it's easier.
Because
You just get
I just want to remind everybody sitting here, we have one concern, that's EIT. So all these other things were not our, I don't know, you sound like a jerk, but it's not our problem.
It's still our municipalities, it's our individual municipalities.
But the
Yeah, so
decisions
we as a
are
whole,
made.
then we need to take it back to our municipality.
Exactly.
Also.
It depends on the time of year for that tax.
Right.
You know, obviously April, you're gonna get the hallway lined up pretty much the whole month.
Right.
October 15th, you're gonna have people coming in. Every quarter, you're gonna have employers coming in paying their, you know, their quarterly tax for their employees, and it just depends on what it is. Some people just like to come, drop it off, they don't need help, but they wanna physically drop it off because they don't trust the mail.
And some people bring cash too.
Yeah, some
They
people bring
bring
cash.
because they have cash, they don't wanna wait for a check to cash.
Yeah.
They just want to be done with it.
We are talking about 4 packs, correct?
No.
Not one.
Just
One.
Yeah, we don't go to there.
This is just EIT.
This is only EIT time.
And this part of the discussion could include Keystone Collections because it's not exclusive to Berkheimer. When we're talking about local collections,
Right.
so excluding them from that portion of the conversation doesn't seem necessary anymore. If we're done with specific questions for Berkheimer.
Is that what you're saying?
Is there any other questions for everyone, or are we good to move forward for the next? Yeah, Chris?
My wife and I are both, we're business owners and self-employed, mostly self-employed. Everything is easy and digital for the business owner to
Yes.
file, and you can make.
We encourage online filing for individuals, self-reporting for individual finals that are having taxes withheld, employers. So everybody, we encourage that. And once we do that, and one of the things with, Chad mentioned something about postage, is that we capture, when, say you as an business owner files your quarterly return with us, we capture the email address. So then the next quarter, we send out a reminder to you by email. So we save on the postage doing it that way. But, you know, there's still people that want to file, and then we also send out reminders for people once they file online. A lot of times with CPAs or tax preparers, they'll send in a bunch of tax returns, and then we'll file them, and then we send an email notice to the individual reminding them that April 15th is April 15th every year, and it's due unless there's a Patriots Day, so it's the 17th or on a weekend, you know, like that. So we follow that too, by the way. So if the federal or the state and federal is due on the 17th of April, then we extend it out to the 17th of April. So we follow those guidelines.
And you allow small business owners to pay by ACH as well?
Yes. Yes. Electronically, yes.
We've been paying by check to the school district one, and I'm okay, but sometimes my wife is like, it's been 2 months, why haven't you cashed the check yet? I'm like, kid, I don't know.
No, we encourage ACH also payments.
Yeah, we like to do that, thank you.
Both current and delinquent.
I've been experienced with Berkheimer, so I'm originally from Lehigh County, and my school district, Southern Lehigh School District, has used Berkheimer.
Right.
I've been here for at least close to 20 years now, and I remember paying in when I started working at 16 with Berkheimer, and I remember it being smooth then. I can only imagine now with this being more digital, with how much more smooth it is too.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a lot different. When I started, we used to get the mail and open them and put a stack over here with checks, refunds, regulars, questions. And then we put the checks through, honor the refunds, and go through the other stacks. So it was a monotonous time. So, anyway.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll leave, I don't know if they have computer or not, but I'll leave this up here for them.
Okay.
So they can use, and then I'll just grab it for at the end.
Okay.
Did you open, one quick question, did you open their bids so that since they were here when their rates?
Yeah.
How do you want me to go this stuff?
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
don't know who's opening the bid, but that's the.
They're gonna say,
And then that is
No,
the breakdown
Yeah.
of the.
We'll leave after the
Based on weighted average to the 50,000.
Okay.
So I did break that down to you, and then all of the, I gave you an example of what the performance guarantee would look like. So what that would be, and then I just charted out the different things based on the costs and everything. So I laid it out. If you have any questions, you go to Rick and come to me.
Okay.
But I tried to make it as simple as possible for
Yeah.
everybody. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Are you guys going to use a laptop?
Oh, yeah.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, they have here what their amount is.
Yeah, okay.
Good night.
Thanks,
Safe trip.
Safe travels.
Okay. Keystone Collections presents
Put it up here? I don't bite, I just. Yeah.
Sorry, Colleen, I didn't see you come in, so I didn't sit up here.
All right, Greg's gonna read the information here from Keystone before we get started with our presentation.
Keystone has two options. Option A, that is the current year earned income tax at 1.49% of the amount collected plus actual postage, and delinquent would be 0%. Option B, current earned income tax for the school district at 1.25% plus postage, and for each other municipality, 1.95% plus postage, and delinquent being 0%.
Okay. to present or whatever it is.
First name was EIT, right?
They're all units.
Yeah.
Just the TV
Yeah, there's,
Unless we want to watch Tombstone or everything on the engine.
Where would be best for us to stand for the group?
They stood right there. Right there.
All right. We'll need to reinvent the wheel. So first off, thank you for having us as your guest this evening. My name is Jason Lawson. I'm joined by John Pinkerton. I've been with Keystone 22 years. John's been with us 10 years. So first off, we put two options in front of you, EIT-wise. I'm just going to start off with our presentation will be probably about 10 minutes. We're going to keep it short and sweet. Additionally, you guys have a lot of important questions or decisions to make. There's not just one decision here. There's a culture change for how things are. So we really don't want to bog you down with information. We provided a book, has a lot of information about us. I can provide that electronically to Mela to share. But just to start off, like I said, we are from Keystone Collections Group. We are out of the Pittsburgh area. We're headquartered in Westmoreland County. We currently have 21 tax collection districts that we collect EIT for. We started Act 32 with 11, and since Act 32 started, we've picked up an additional 10. We've transitioned, I want to say, 6 of those over the last 7 to 8 years. Importantly for this area, last year we picked up both Lycoming and Cameron, your neighbors on either side of you. Additionally, for geographic read purposes, we also collect for Tioga, which isn't all too far away, and Clearfield, which is a little bit away. So we have a number of clients in this area. We have been in the earned income tax business for roughly 40 years. We're in our 40th year of tax collection. We have over 1,000 clients across Commonwealth, Pennsylvania. We feel that we do an excellent job with earned income tax collection. It's our bread and butter. We process well over $3 billion in tax on an annual basis, all various types of tax. Various departments within Keystone, from client services, which John will address in a minute, to legal department, customer service, processing department. We actually have done this many times. The transition process, which I know can be scary, is something that we're expert on. So we did for 2 different counties last year. John covered both Cameron and Lycoming. Lycoming, to be frank with you, had some bumps in the road due to how they were currently operating their system. And John led our team through that with help from IT and legal and processing as well. You want to touch on client relations?
Yeah, first I want to touch on Lycoming and Cameron. Completely different. Larger income county, small camping world. The data was completely different. Lycoming used a system. We got all that data electronically. Cameron, it was all paper. It was basically all paper. I mean, we took it. I remember asking the one day, "Can I see, your data from the final returns from last year?" And a 3-foot drawer got pulled out and said, "Here you go." So, I mean, it was completely different, and we transitioned them. Now, the one main difference there was Cameron started brand new in the year. They started on January 1st. Lycoming did start 4th quarter last year, which no matter who you would select, I would suggest do not do. It's easier on your taxpayers. It's easier for final returns. They did that because as they were closing their office, they were losing staff, and they did not think that they were going to have enough staff to process the final returns come February, March, April. So they were just preparing for that ahead of time. So we did process their 4th quarter and do their final returns. Again, it's not the easiest thing to do, but we did transition them. We had done that with another county. We did that with Mifflin County, I believe, in 2017, 2018. Myself, I started in client relations, or client services. Client services is a group of individuals that's here for you. They're here for municipalities, whether you're a borough, township. They're also here for the school district. These individuals are for you to reach out to. Everyone seems to be changing their banking information. Everyone's getting hacked. Everyone's afraid to get hacked. Everyone's getting a better rate at a different bank. You reach out to client services, they provide that information to you. If you have a problem getting your report, don't understand your report, you reach out to client relations. One of those people will get back to you or answer the phone call. It's a direct line to them. They answer your questions. We have a number of reports already in queue for a school district. If you're floating a bond and you need to know who your top 20 tax or top employers are, we can provide that for you. If you need to know what the average income for your township municipality is, we can provide that to you. If you need to know what your median income range is, we can provide that for you. We actually have it down to, we had some people researching, as we have communities growing in some of our other TCCs, they would say, are we getting income from everyone on this street? We actually can take it down to a street and say, give us the addresses and say, yes, we're getting income from there. We can actually drill down into that. Additionally, client services will do projections for you. It is hard to do it within the first 2 years. We need some historic data, but they're very good at this. They can go back and say, okay, we looked at it, you lost, one major taxpayer, you did lose a couple businesses. We're looking at you making X amount in the next year. That can help you out. A lot of times when we're reaching out to clients, you hear, don't have time to talk right now, it's budget season, we're buried. Whether it be a school district, whether it be a municipality, we try to help out with that because you're guessing what your number's going to be. We have a little bit of better access to that, and we can drill down and take a look at that. They're there for everything. There might be questions that you have that you don't even know that you have. You might call up and say, I'm looking to get this. Client services will walk you through and say, I think what you're really looking for is this. We have a report that can give you this information. They're very helpful. Stephanie Melcher took over a few years ago as the team lead, and I was going to tell you this, talk to you this on the way up. Just over the last 6 months, you've just seen her grow. Just the amount of knowledge that she's got. I'm really proud of her. She's young, younger than me, but she's young. But she's really grown and she's really grasped onto this, and it's really good. She cares about the clients, she takes care of the clients, and she's got her head on straight with all that stuff. So I'm very proud of her. And I think she does a good job, and she's out there looking out for the clients. And there's times that we're in the situation where listen, we get busy. We have clients, they get busy. She works. She'll work evenings, she's worked weekends. I've seen her get emails from her. We really care to try to get that out.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the overarching message we want to convey tonight is that, one, we care, and two, we treat not only our municipalities and school districts, but all of your taxpayers with dignity and respect. I know, I don't want to take us down a rabbit hole, but you guys have a culture, you've done things a certain way, and there will be some change, and that is scary for everybody. And the last thing we want to do is contribute to that and tip the apple cart. We treat all our resident taxpayers incredibly well. We work hand in hand with our municipalities and schools so they can do what they need to do. And that's sort of something we really wanted to get across. I didn't mention, it wasn't mentioned with our quote, I just want to get crystal clear on our quote. You got the rate correct, but we put in there that we would do a length of 3 years. So we'll do 3 years, or if you want 5, if you want something longer, we'll do that, but
that was a 3-year projection, or 3 years.
Well, at least a 3. So if you would look at if you would want to enter a partnership with us and say, you know what, let's do a 5-year, that's fine. But like I said, we know that there's a culture change coming, and you may not want to lock in with somebody for an incredibly long time. We're not in a position to do a 1 or a 2 year, but I want to say a 3 year is probably the shortest you're going to get out of anybody. Yeah. And we want to sort of let's do a 3 year, try us out. If it's not working, then you line your ducks up and move on to plan B. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that was crystal clear that was with a 3 year rate there. We talked about transition quickly, but I want to really go back to that as well, that with our Lycoming experience, we have a plan in place. We have a document we share immediately. We have press releases. We have web releases. We over-communicate the transition. We work with your employers. We'll ask your tax office, and can you give us a list of all the employers? We'll start calling the employers.
For Lycoming, we reached out to the top 200 employers. Because that's where your main money's coming from. That's where your main money's coming from. So, there's going to be other small companies that are going to have a hard time filing with you, or just because of the transition and the change of switching over to the companies, but those main large companies, the main employers are your bread and butter. We need to get that money flowing. So we make that a point to call them ahead of time to say, here, let's get your account set up.
The employers are the key to Act 32.
Additionally, I talk about client services. We have a business portal group, employer compliance, a group of, I believe it's 8 individuals, 10 individuals. They're great. We don't talk about them. And usually when there's no problem with anything, you don't talk about it. You don't talk about the electric when the electric's on. You talk about the electric when there's no electric. There's no problem with business portal for us. They're very good at reaching out and taking care of these people. They know all the little quirks of the system that these people may have problems with. I pushed this button, I filed it here, I uploaded it here. Oh, we did it incorrectly, go back. And they'll take that time to walk through. But we have to take care of your businesses because that's where your main money's coming from. And we do make a point of that. They're very good.
Your average taxpayer in the Act 32 system, their only interaction with an Act 32 officer is to file their final return at the end of the year. People that are 1099s that own their own business, they have to file quarterly. But if you get a W-2, all you got to do is file a file. So again, we make it as easy as possible for the employers. We over-communicate with the employers. To that end, John and some of our business portal team will come up and do a web or a seminar up here. We'll ask, Greg, can we borrow your room for a day? We'll do 1 or 2 sessions, and we'll go through how you file and answer any questions any employers have. It's one of the things we do as well.
I think for Lycoming, I think we had it at the Recreation Center in Loyalsock, and I believe we had 80 people there. 80 people coming for that. It's a small number, but there were great questions that came out of it. And then word of mouth travels very well. So, I thought it went very well. We've done that for every TCC that we transitioned. When we did Mifflin County in 2018, I think we had 2 sessions. I think our morning session, we had 120 people. They were out the door. I've never seen that many people come to a meeting like that
The key to Act 32 is the employers. Additionally, with the transition, your tax office isn't going anywhere, to the best of my knowledge. They have other tax types that they do for you. We would work with them to get the master file data so that we can start communicating with the employers as well as the residents when time came. But that's a lot on transition. As for the nuts and bolts of Act 32 collection, most people, I think, probably understand how it works. I'm not going to go through all of it. But as you know, if you're a W-2 wage earner, your employer withholds your tax, sends it to the location where you work. That may be the county that you live, or it may not. But one of the good things about us having Lycoming and Cameron is that allows you to get your money a little bit faster. If it was a county, if your residents worked in a county that we don't collect for, that adds a 30-day delay in it due to the law, the way that works. Additionally, we ACH funds at least twice a week, if not more. But on the exact opposite of that, I visited with some townships, and Kyle, I was in your township, and Jackie said, I don't want all that. I want my money once a month. And I said, I can do that. I double checked into it. We can, she doesn't want to do a ton of QuickBook entries. No offense, I'm trying to call Woodward out, but she's like, we're good on money. I don't need, she's like, but for me, it'll be easier to just get it once a month. And we can do that too. So that's just one way that we really work with our communities. Like, partner is a big word for us. To that point, we're boots on the ground as well. I was up at the Townships trade show about a month ago. Good lunch, pulled pork. It was a great day. I met many people in this room that day. I came back up, spent 2.5 days up here a couple weeks ago, knocked on some doors. I didn't have appointments most places, so I popped in on a lot of people, got to talk to a lot more people as well. I try to hit everybody. Some of the smaller townships that don't have representation 8 to 4 Monday through Friday maybe didn't get to, but that's how we operate. We're boots on the ground. If we are lucky enough that you pick us to be your partner moving forward, you will see us. We will be at every TCC meeting. We will be up here. We'll be stopping in. We'll be checking in with you. And that's not just, our client relations group or client services team. That's John and myself as well.
So to tell you how we move through and how we do travel, we're traveling up here today, following GPS like we all do. We come up on Port Matilda on 99. I see the tree stand and say, turn off here, we take the shortcut, pass all the Eagles State Park. Because that's my sign. we know that shortcut coming through. I don't know what the actual exit is, but I know where that tree stands. So I know to take the right there, and then we can come up the back way in.
I thought you were gonna talk about diners and greasy spoons.
No, I know those two.
But one of the things I'm gonna pivot and shift to is delinquent tax. It's our bread and butter. The crazy thing is that COVID was 5 years ago. It doesn't seem like it, but we got into COVID, and PSATs and PASBO, and everybody was afraid that everybody's EIT money was going to be down dramatically. So at Keystone, we held up on delinquents for about 60 days, and then we did a 180 and said, if their current money's down, they're going to need their delinquents. So while we did a good job at delinquents previously, back then, I want to say we were recovering across all our clients between 10 and 15 million per year. We knuckled down with our IT team and our legal team, and we have a fully automated wage garnishment program where there's probably 35 different letters in the process, between many initial letters to the certified letters to the garnishment letters to the letters that clean it up at the end. And the last audited year, we recovered 69 million in delinquents across the Commonwealth of PA. And that includes some big counties, but pushing people into delinquents and doing a good job with your delinquents pushes them to pay current the next year. So we feel that if we're lucky enough that you bring us on board, you do a really good job for your delinquents and maybe flip over some rocks to catch some folks and maybe you're trying to get away with it right now.
Delinquent's a necessary evil. I mean, I'm a firm believer, my per capita tax is $10, my neighbor should be paying their $10. It's a necessary evil that you need to, because we have people that will skate for years. One of the times we took over a location, somebody called in, actually it was a state rep's office, called in and said, this gentleman wants to know why he received this delinquent bill, because he hasn't paid his tax in 10 years and he's never received a delinquent bill before. I mean, and we said, well, that's why you have a new collector. But I mean, some people make a habit of getting it. To that end, in addition with the delinquents, the school board, PASBO, Pennsylvania Association of School Board Officials, they predicted that everyone was going to be down 17 to 18% that year due to COVID. We actually came out, we had one county that was just, I think it was 0.2 down, and that wasn't even because of COVID. It was, we have two counties that are heavy in Marcellus well. And so when that shut down, when COVID shut us down, the wells and all those operations shut down for a little bit. That was big money for them. In those two counties, we have seen tremendous fluctuations in the money, but that's what happened that year. All of our other counties, we were not.
Every 4 years, it fluctuates a little bit.
Yeah.
Depending on who's in office.
Yeah, but we did not go down. I mean, and that's why we did that. We realized, we actually shut down sending bills out for, I believe, 3 weeks. When COVID hit, we shut down. We didn't shut down as a business. We shut down of, if nobody has a job, how are they going to pay us? And then we realized that the borough is still taking care of the road, that the school district is still there having to pay their teachers. So that's when we went back and made these changes to our delinquent process to get that money coming in. I mean, as I said, it's a necessary evil, but we did not send any bills out for 3 weeks because how does somebody pay if they're not employed at the time? So, but we made it a point. We always try to get as much money for our clients as possible. We make it a point to strive to increase them every year. We have seen great increases over the last 3 years. It goes to show a little bit of what the economy was doing, but it also goes to show the increase in wages. You know, I mean, what minimum wage was, what minimum wage is. My son works at Walmart part-time. He's going to college, unloading a truck, and he's making $17 an hour. I think I started off at $4.50. You know what I mean? It's a tremendous difference. So.
39 cents.
I have a question.
Yeah, just about to say, if there is any questions.
Is there a one-time setup or onboarding fee?
No.
And second, how long do you expect the transition time to take place?
We would want to
number of months.
Well, so it starts off by getting, once selected, you get master data. You need to get master data from the previous collector. And then we start putting that in there. I mean, that is part of our transition. So when you say that, I mean, this could start off in,
I would say transition starts the minute a contract is signed.
Yeah.
Because we're going to start just, before you even get master data, you're talking about communicating to the employers, communicating to the payroll companies, just getting general communication out there. There's surveys that we send to municipalities. We want to know your banking information. We need to know where we need to ACH your funds. We need to make sure we have the right contact information. We need your emails. We need your phone numbers. There's a lot of that. So I would say,
I think we started this year. I think we have received the first data in October. I think the initial letters went out in November, the surveys. We strive to get those done. Believe it or not, that was one of the harder things to get from the municipalities. We get some stragglers that we were calling several times to get that. But I think it's mainly done by middle of December as far as that. Now, I'm not going to tell you that that transition process goes on, because you're not going to start receiving money until the beginning of the year. So once that money starts coming, that's still part of our transition process. We reach out to you to say, you understand, you're okay. We have an expert in client services, and she actually creates the end of the month reports. I'm not in her office anymore, but I used to, people say, are your end of the month reports easy to read? I said, you can't ask me that, because I just send them to Laura, because Laura was the expert on it. Laura could tell you everything about that, where every penny came from. So that's part of the process. When you call up and say, I don't understand line 13A, I don't understand line 15B, you can call up, and she's in client services. We put you in touch with Laura. Laura will walk you through that. That transition process goes. But as far as the clients, we would probably strive from end of October, 1st of November to get that done before Christmas, as far as banking information, contact information. We have a portal that we would have set up.
It's also important to realize and just be crystal clear with what money you would be getting and when you would be getting it. In a transition process, if the current vendor, current collector stays in place and finishes your final returns in your fourth quarter, remember your fourth quarter money comes in at the end of January, and then your final return money comes in the months of, say, February, March, and April. If you have a new collector coming on that starts at quarter one, that quarter is not over until March. The employers don't have to have the money to us or another vendor by the end of April. So, we brought somebody, so just long story short, if you have the tax office do the final returns, which is the proper way to do it, you wouldn't be getting money from either Berkheimer or Keystone most likely until, I would say, April. So just to be crystal clear with that.
And there is money coming in. You will have monthly filers, so you will see money trickling in. But your main bulk of that money is going to come end of April, 1st of May.
Yeah, so those are some of the highlights we wanted to touch on, open ourselves up for questions.
Do you have a local office here in the county, or do you plan on it, or?
We do not. We do not have a local office, and our quote was put together without the intention of doing so. That may be a touchy subject, but just to be crystal clear with my transparency on that, our experience is that when folks come into a local office, it's more likely to pay for real estate tax. We've had when Act 32 started, we had local offices across the Commonwealth. We've closed a bunch of them just due to inactivity. And it allows us to, realize savings for our clients. When Act 32 started, we were quoting clients much higher than 149. And now, because of efficiencies with the process, with current and delinquent, as well as on having an office, so just to be transparent with you, we would not intend that.
Actually, the last two TCCs that we've done away with the offices, they actually approached us and said, who's coming to your office? And we gave them the stats, and we said, we don't see a need for this.
Did you have a question?
Nope, yes.
Are you guys working in conjunction with the local school district, or?
Not at this point in time. The school has a couple of different hats in this scenario, and I don't want to go down that. They are a client. They are a school district that collects tax funds, and they have a tax office as well. So there's two hats there. We have no relationship with anybody. We got a letter. We submitted a proposal for this process. If we would be lucky enough to be selected and enter into a contract with the TCC, we would then engage the tax office of the school district to start transitioning down. Does that answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any additional questions? You have to have something.
apologize, we didn't go as long as our competitor.
But also
So-
apologize because you told us 10 minutes and we're over 10 minutes.
When you guys were talking about the delinquent letters that you send out so many a month, and that's the postage that you're talking about in your proposal,
No.
plus
No.
postage.
Okay, that's a really good question. I'm sorry to cut you off. So I
No, it's okay.
can elaborate on that. There's some layers that I'm in there. So first off, delinquent postage is on us. So we cover that. And that delinquent EIT process includes certified letters, which are $8 or $10 a piece, but we cover those. That's all on us. The postage that you pay for is on current mailings. So when we are mailing out blank tax forms to your residents, that's the postage you pay. And there's a couple layers to that on it. One, the very first year will be probably the most postage you pay because we will send an ITR, an individual tax return, to every resident taxpayer. But as your taxpayers file online with us, the next year we won't send them a paper return because they've shown an inclination to file online. If they don't file online by about 30 days before tax day, we will send them an email that says, hey, you filed online last year, you didn't file online. So that saves you money on postage. The second part of it is, because it's a tax form and not a tax bill without a set amount due, like a real estate bill, it can go bulk standard. So instead of I don't even know what a standard is now, it's like 72, 73, right? That gets it down to about 40 cents a piece. And on top of that, the postage is split between the school and the municipalities. So we do everything we can to really limit that. And as time goes on and more people file online, it reduces what you pay. So all the delinquent letters we do, that postage is on us.
I don't have any questions.
All right. Can I ask, and maybe, if you don't want to answer this, you can't answer this, that's okay. Do you have an idea for the selection process? Is it going to conclude this evening, or are you guys going to take this under advisement, or is that still up in the air? Sorry.
I would say, we haven't had that conversation. It's on the agenda, but I think we need to discuss that. Yeah, I mean, he's asking about the selection process, but.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put Mayla, when we spoke, I'm not trying to put her on the spot, but I was thinking that maybe the selection would be made tonight, but doesn't seem, there's a lot of information probably thrown at you guys tonight.
So I kind of wanted us to talk amongst ourselves, and I don't.
Which you should.
Just to be honest with you, I don't know, that we were kind of briefly talking at the beginning of the meeting about like an executive session, which I don't believe that's possible.
We can ask the vendors to excuse themselves.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna recommend. That way we can talk amongst ourselves without
completely
listening.
This is an important decision for you. I mean, from what you've been used to, for a change of that, it's an important decision. You should take the time to do that. So.
I do have a question. So there were two options given at the beginning, 1.25 plus postage, and I guess I'm not quite sure what the two options are.
Okay, if I can lay those out. So we just gave two options, and one was a flat rate where everybody would pay the same commission of 1.49% plus the postage. And again, that's postage just on current mailings. And the second, we saw that your current arrangement is where the school pays a different rate than the municipalities. The school's at 2.5, you were at 5. So we presented something in that nature as well that would come together would be about the same as the 1.49. If that, the school has a higher EIT, I believe, due to an knock elimination tax sometime in their past. So we laid that out as well. Whatever works best for the group, 1.25 and 195, or the 149. Yeah, we're not trying to upset anybody. We're not trying to tip the apple cart. We're just trying to put options in front of you to make ourselves as attractive as possible, to be frank with you.
And both of them are delinquent 0 and postage we have to pay for.
But not on delinquent.
Yes, I'm correct. Okay,
Correct.
Okay. I don't know why I thought I heard 1.25. I don't know what. Oh,
You
down
did.
there.
You did for the school on plan B.
Okay, so that was, that's option.
So 20 of our TCCs have a single link. We do have one TCC that has.
Yeah, is that what's up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
questions?
I don't believe so. I think, is everybody good? Okay. You don't mind stepping out for just a few minutes, and we're just gonna discuss something, and then maybe we'll let you guys know how we're gonna proceed.
Okay.
We don't wanna hold you guys up, get back on the road and stuff, so.
Yep, that doesn't matter to us. We'll stay here all night.
No, there's.
Bring to answer your question, 2 months.
Took a lot. Yeah.
I like, Greg was just echoing something here. Say what you say, because I think that's honestly what we should probably consider doing.
I think, what?
I think I know what you're gonna say.
So thank them all for coming, tell them we'll send them a letter. The letter will actually say to them what we've decided our process will be for selection. But
I can be really smart about stuff, but it's super awkward for me to sit here and say what we're doing in front of. It's just odd to me.
No, I would put a letter.
I'm prepared to make a decision,
I am as well.
so we don't have to forego that.
I think we should dismiss that vote tonight and just say that we're going to send it out a letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll send out a letter, which one we choose.
Yeah.
Well, we should send one to both.
Yeah.
Just say thank you for your proposal.
Oh, absolutely.
But maybe dismiss them first, tell them they can go, and then we'll
Discuss.
button ourselves.
Yeah, why would make them wait until
Right.
We're not opening paving bids here between Paul Baker and HR. They're pretty cut and dry. It's a little different.
I'll go tell them they can come and make bigger bodies.
Yeah.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Kyle,
Yes.
now, we're gonna have, Berkheimer and Smith construction bids, okay?
What's this for?
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
I'm using fake
This is a
names.
township.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know, this is like a township thing, like you needed help with like paving bids or something. Or liquid fuels money or something.
No, do we need both of the companies because they only do the EIT and did we have?
Yeah,
like we do.
Our committee is only for the EIT collection. Both of these companies would do everything for your municipality.
You'd have to arrange anything else with your municipality.
Okay, then I would just wanted to get that.
Yeah.
Our
This is
sole
only for
purpose
one
is just
time,
the
right?
EIT. And then it's up to each individual municipality when you go back to your borough or township to discuss. I mean, the district, we pay, Monroe Borough pays the district 5% to collect LSD taxes. So I already took this to our borough because if we could be paying, if we could be paying 1.3 for LSD commission versus 5%, and the couple committee members that were there, they said, well, maybe our tax collector would want to collect it. Sure, maybe she would take a lower rate than 5%, but that's an option too, because there are some tax collectors that do collect.
I am, and Jerry still does, and I do, I don't know who else does, but I do.
Kim Phillips does for multi-employee thing too.
Okay.
That's real estate stuff, right?
That's LSD.
It's LSD.
That's separate from what our sole purpose is.
Like I know Rick House is our tax collector in our township. I don't even know which ones he collects. Is it?
Just real estate.
It's just real
And
estate.
maybe LSD.
I don't
You're
know.
lucky you have a tax collector for that.
Yeah.
You could vote them in again, but now it's too late because we have to.
Yeah, you do.
And Rick kind of like I'm just using Rick as an example because he's ours. So he like charges a percent. He keeps a percentage of the road. Because I see him come in to Jackie. Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time. Good luck with everything. Appreciate you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, your little one as well. Oh, it is.
She said I need to get home soon. She wants to do a shower. He's crying. So. Thank you.
Oh, good, we waited till it's poured.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I was gonna say, we're gonna go through your thunderstorm.
I thought it looked like it was getting done.
So we gotta wait like 30 minutes now because Christy can't drive up the Nova Road.
I'm not. I'm Tracy. Yeah, I am too.
You got 3 of them here.
I'm going back to my camper.
Oh, no.
This
Where-
is our
you live up
family
in
and friends
Oakland.
vacation.
Where?
Oh,
Where
sorry,
at?
interesting.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
Well, you didn't follow me
I'm
on a
going to work
chainsaw on my
tomorrow,
truck.
so it's,
I
should
that's
be
great.
I'm going to work tomorrow.
Put the battery out for the chainsaws.
My husband just texted me and said it was a severe thunderstorm warning from here to Lockheed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
stay here. Yeah,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, we may focus on
I don't want to have a meeting. That's me.
Yeah,
I
I'm okay
I
with
hit
that.
that on the table one time. That's-
I think we have enough information.
All right, so I think we need to make some, well, first I think we should discuss the things, whoever wants to speak first, but I think there's some obvious things that were outlined in there that I saw questions going back and forth. I think people on the same track.
I will say one thing. The $50,000 one-time fee as the first year in lieu of paying.
Postage?
No, in lieu of paid commission. 1 year of the city's commission alone to the school district as just one municipality is $32,000 total. So to only have to do a share of $50,000. The school district's own fee to itself is almost $200,000. So it's pretty significant to reduce it down to that much and have us split it.
Where is that paper at? Berkheimer actually gave us a paper at the end there here. We can pass this around. I think Dave looked at it already.
Yeah.
Chris, did you see it?
I was looking at it.
Well, they don't. They
It's very
showed
informative.
us.
Oh,
Yeah, this basically they're showing us what the $50,000 breakdown, how that's going to be covered under the current weighted vote.
Are you Logan and Logan?
I'm Loganton Borough and Logan Township and a
Alternate for grade.
alternate for Green.
So Logan Township, of the $50,000, you would pay $431.49. Loganton Borough would pay $268.71. What's the other one? Green?
Well, and all.
That's me, but.
$933.19. I mean, pass this around. You can see them. It lists it's spelled
I
out.
understand what Greg's saying. I think that 50,000 is actually cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I really do, because just them paying all the postage, that's huge.
But besides that, one of the things when we discussed this the whole way back in July and August was will you have a office?
Well, that's my
And both
biggest-
of them at that time said no, however, we could make arrangements. And those arrangements, what I found out were they would up our commission. So instead of now Berkheimer saying that they're willing to open an office here.
Yeah,
So that's,
they're just a flat, they're a flat rate, 1.3% this
And it's lower.
I would see that level off if they limited hours.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I don't think,
I hope it's
9 to 5,
So-
5 days a week.
what I'm
It's
thinking is
still
that it
a
wouldn't
local
be,
office.
so
Yeah.
it wouldn't be just for Clinton County, it would be for other counties too. So they might
Right.
serve, like if you call in, you might get one of those people at that office, is what I'm kind of thinking.
Exactly. It's
So
not
it
just
would be, they would be here, but they would be like any other location.
The
in
time to
Pennsylvania.
rebuild.
That's it, but it's like Noel said, she gets a lineup of local people wanting to pay EIT and everything.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes. I don't care. I know me. I don't want to have to deal with the mail and losing stuff. I get stuff lost in the mail constantly. Loganton, I'm not putting down their post office people because it's Harrisburg. I had a box that sat in Harrisburg for 3 months.
One of the other things that stuck out to me that I put an asterisk beside was Berkheimer said they have had 0 outages ever.
Right, that speaks a lot.
And it is, so
Well, Keystone, there's a news article out there. I think if you probably research it, you can find it. I believe it was this past year. They had some serious problems at tax day, and there was.
And it is interesting they didn't mention it.
Right.
Because, I mean.
Would you?
Well, I would, because I would know it was the elephant in the
I
room.
think it all.
And I think Berkheimer put it in their slide because they know clearly what happened.
I think in all honesty here, we're all talking about picking the same group of people. So I think we ought to just.
I was impressed with the first and second year increase in elections.
Yeah.
They must be very aggressive.
Yes.
And they're guaranteeing it with their own rate.
Yeah.
It's gonna go up anyway. anyway because our commission's less.
Right.
So our collection rate is going to go up because they're collecting,
Our money
we're
is
paying
a
less than
percentage.
commission. So it's going to go up.
If you
So
look at,
it's a great guarantee.
if you look at the overall, the two proposals, one is hands down above the other one. I'm sorry. That's black and white, and it was put in black and white.
I think the
If you
postage was pretty
remember,
significant too.
way back when this all started, and Keystone was the main person at the time, they were at 1.25.
Now they're at 1.95.
They were, now they're saying, what, 1.9 and.
1.25 school district now.
Yeah, both of them's rates came down.
I'd like to make a motion that
Yeah,
we.
Berkheimer was also 1.25, they're at 0.3.
You gotta call for the vote.
I'd like to make a call for the vote.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
I'd like to make a motion that we take a vote.
Are we doing this contingent on solicitor review of the
Yes.
proposal?
Like roll call or what?
Just for the advertisements, because we don't, I don't know.
Because we don't have.
I don't know how important that is.
No,
We just need to make sure what they propose.
When we do vote or something.
Right, I would
Yeah,
say,
we do the vote.
I would say we make a motion to do a vote, but we also get their contract to submit to go through the lawyer. But I also have a question about that. The lawyer that we picked, is it still the Jason guy, right?
I don't know his name. I don't think him and I are on the greatest terms, but.
I know we're not,
You don't look like
last week.
As of tonight, he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is why I'm gonna ask you, Christie probably already knows. David Lindsay resigned and backed away because he called it a conflict of interest. Well, this guy Jason is here, he's also with the school. That's why David Lindsay backed out of conflict of interest.
You mean
Can
our school?
I answer?
Yeah.
Just, so Jason Confer was asked to come explain tax collection processes to the school board to give you guys insight on the process of everything. He's not a solicitor, he's just there for advice, he's there for information. So David Lindsay is our solicitor for the school district, so if anything were to go to court, he would be representing us. So if the TCC and the school district would have a conflict, then David would have to choose a side. So
Right.
that's why he excused himself.
But isn't Jason looking at coming on board for the school? Cause I heard he was.
As the school board solicitor,
No, as dealing with the tax office too.
I don't think that we would have two different solicitors,
Okay,
not that I'm aware of. I
all right. I just was curious, that's all.
Yeah, no, he was just there for informational
But
purposes.
I'm not here as from a school board member, I'll make that clear. I am here representing the 3 municipalities that I gotta deal with. School board is out of it for me here.
I know we
How does that
probably,
work for me as an employee? Can I excuse myself as an employee?
I know we
Probably good,
Just
yeah.
be the delegate?
we put on the agenda here, Mayla done, and we usually do, and you all know we're involved with townships and stuff, we usually accept bids, you know, depending on what our, you know, solicitor, or sometimes we award stuff, you know, as long as our municipal rep there in Stover approves it or whatever. Make sure everything's buttoned up, but I'm gonna say in my head, I have full confidence that no solicitor's gonna change my mind on what I'm voting for, right? So I don't know how anyone else feels. I know we said we wanted to pass this off to our solicitor, but whether that's.
I think we should have them look at it, the contract.
Great.
Make the motion that, you're going to make the motion to have, X be the provider and have them forward the agreement onto the TCC solicitor for review.
Right.
That's what we labeled
Would you
there
just say
for.
forward?
I have
Go ahead.
a question. On this agenda, the vote on it wasn't on it, is that still? Is
Yes,
that
vote.
It's
not
number-
legal?
It's number 4 under new business.
Yeah.
Says our solicitor should review.
Oh, I better remember.
Yeah, that's all.
Don't tell me I messed up, 'cause
I think
I
Chris,
apologize.
I think Chris was starting to make a motion, but.
I'm sorry.
I make a motion that we pick who we wanna do, and then we have them forward their proposal contract to the solicitor, and if he gives it the thumbs up, that's it, we finish.
That's on the agenda, so you got it, Karen?
Like, so conditional.
So who is that?
So we need a motion
You
for
have to
that
put the
collector.
person's name in there. Yeah.
I would, make a motion, we accept Berkheimer.
I will second that. Greg, city delegate.
Are we ready for a roll call vote?
I believe it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Roll call.
That's
not a roll call.
I'm gonna run this the way I run my township.
You do it.
I'm doing it my way. This
Keystone Central.
crap.
All right, is anybody opposed?
I hate that stuff.
I do too.
Chris.
Yes.
Oh, no, go ahead. You do it
Dave.
okay.
These roll
Yes.
calls. They vote.
Greg.
Yes, city of Lockhaven.
Mela.
Yes.
Linda.
Greentown.
Yes. Chapman.
Yes.
So I don't know your name, I'm sorry.
That's Polly.
Polly, okay. Karen,
Over, yeah.
where's noise at here?
Tracy.
Tracy.
Yes.
Christy.
Yes.
And Jane.
Yes.
And myself, who's
Porter.
Phil,
Yeah.
Porter. And
Yeah, and I am Logan Township and Logan to
Mela has all the information.
Yeah, she knows where I'm from.
Just right
Do we still have a solicitor out of Lancaster? Not our solicitor?
Yeah, that got it.
Yeah.
Myself,
We do.
And we're doing a 7-year with them or don't, we don't even have to worry about it,
Rated
because that's what the
I
contract
would,
is.
I would think
Rated
7
what?
years is
A
the way
lot.
to go.
That was my point. I get we should.
The ones.
I know we should do that,
Yeah,
but
so-
I'm just saying.
Right now, the school district's paying the bill. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Oh, amend that.
Okay.
Let it be known, I did not watch Jason because of that bill. What did it cost? What did it cost? What was that bill price when he was here? When was that? December? November? What was
Not
it?
on the agenda.
I think it's.
So-
Yeah, but what did the bill come to? Do you know?
Just to be clear, we are putting the proposal forward of the 7-year proposal that they gave to us.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you do your bylaws?
That's the next meeting,
That's
September.
gonna be September. If you wanna be on the committee.
Are you still gonna hold this solicitor to review your bylaws? Or what are we doing about the solicitor? I know we couldn't find anybody locally when I was here before, but I apologize for not, I'm only alternate, so, you
Right.
know.
You don't have to be a lawyer to write bylaws.
No, I
That's
realize
what I
that,
do.
but
So
then I
we-
have them review them.
We talked about,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean, at the
but
end.
the more work we could do locally.
we talked about setting up a committee. I believe we
Yes,
have a
and we
committee
did last
set
meeting.
up
Karen
to
and I
review the
joined.
bylaws. And then we would,
I know you know that. Yeah, well,
so when the committee reviews the bylaws, then they would bring it back to us to review, and then we pretty much just give it to him to make sure that everything's legal. And then all the wording's supposed to be in there that's supposed to be, and if it's not, then it's
So that's, we have to get this done before January 1, if he says that we're gonna pay for it.
Yes, that's what I'm
Stick
saying.
them one more time while you can.
Well,
It's been done all these years, and there's no,
Yeah.
no question, this is why we.
I think,
Which my next question is then, how are we gonna function after January 1 as a board financially?
So what happens with TCCs, every municipality pitches in whatever their share is, so your way to vote is your share. I don't know if Berkheimer or Keystone, we're going with Berkheimer, so I'll use Berkheimer. I don't know if they'll withhold that amount and submit it to the TCC, whoever our treasurer would be, and then it would go in our bank account to pay the bills. So we would set a budget, and that money would be withheld off of commissions from each municipality.
Right, way to go.
So not only would the commission be withheld, but then I'll call it
I
commission for the
think he
TCC.
mentioned that.
Okay.
He mentioned that.
So there would be two separate things withheld off of the collection amount.
you can also, everybody puts in, like, you're gonna need 17% under GFOA for 2 months' bills, right, in the bank at any given moment. So if you take whatever that 17% of our total operating budget for next year is, we all pay in our weighted vote of that.
Yeah.
So, that money would stay as an asset of the TCC as a payable due back to your municipality. So it would be accounted for every year in Flemington's audit, that you have that money basically invested without interest in the TCC as a member. But that'd be a quick and easy way, but they had talked before about withholding it from our first so many checks until you pay up your amount.
And then it would be up to us as a committee, if there's money left over at the next year, do we wanna just roll that, or do you wanna divvy it out between municipalities of whatever your collection was, or your percentage, and then start to refresh the new year?
We can try to sort some of those details out at the next meeting.
Yeah.
So should we consider, I did have a solicitor that is willing to look at the proposal. Should we consider that for September's meeting to have,
This proposal here,
no, I'm sorry,
go-
to look at like our bylaws and be our solicitor, be our,
well, if,
We would have to.
it needs to be on the agenda, it needs to communicate with us for that meeting. So maybe if you have somebody, maybe they should come to that September meeting.
okay?
And if he is coming confirmed, we can put on the agenda to
As a
select them or
proposals.
whatever.
You can show a proposal.
Yeah.
For his firm.
Yeah.
As long as it isn't outlawed.
What kind of contract do we have with the solicitor out of Lancaster, wherever he may be? Is it just,
We can
dismiss him with a 30-day notice?
Yeah.
No, I think we can terminate.
We can terminate any time, and
Okay.
but if he's in the middle of something, we have to like pay that out. But at this point, right now, the only thing I would see him being involved with is getting this, which brings me to what I'm gonna, if everybody's okay with handling it this way, I guess I'll request from Berkheimer a PDF or something of this contract to send to Jay, what's his last name? Jason Confair, in an email, and just ask him to review this, that this is who the TCC selected, and we just want him to make sure it's kosher.
In the next 2 weeks.
I was gonna tell him one done by Thursday afternoon.
Sometimes they drag things out.
He's probably not working right now, if I remember, but.
When do you wanna send the letters to the chosen one and
They're, like, I have a feeling they're gonna
Do
be
you wanna
like
wait?
calling or texting us or something here, like on their way home or
do
something.
you wanna wait that until the solicitor approves it? Obviously,
No, we can do
Berkheimer will
conditionally.
know if we're asking for a contract, they're gonna know.
Right.
So I wrote it down where it's conditional approval upon the solicitor making sure everything's, I don't know how to say that, I'm sure how to say it, but anyway. So I have a motion, that's where we're at right now, we have a motion.
On what?
So let's as
On
a
the-
committee
on
decide how we're
Berkheimer
gonna
being the
put this in our
solicitor.
minutes.
We only voted.
It's not a roll
Who's
call.
second?
For the roll call vote.
No, he didn't finish it
Rick
out.
seconded, we all-
Everybody voted yes.
We all voted yes,
But
and
you have
under
to
roll
ask
call.
if anybody's opposed.
Did anybody have a second?
Greg seconded.
Greg seconded.
Chris made the motion, Greg seconded it,
All
I
right,
did,
that's right, I didn't get
we
the
voted,
second.
I called everybody, everybody said yes.
All right,
So
You
it's
said
done.
yes,
I know, but I didn't have the great
It's
second.
getting late, we gotta get out of
Okay,
here.
hang on,
2 hours long.
can we say the motion again so that Mayla has it correct for her minutes?
I made the motion that we get Berkheimer to send a proposal to us on the 7-year ordeal contract. And we forward it on to the solicitor and have him give it the thumbs up or whatever, or fine tune it. And that's where we're at.
It's gonna be conditional upon his.
Yeah, it'll be
Yes,
conditional
yes,
upon the
conditional.
solicitor's
Solicitors
approval.
approval.
These are for minute purposes, correct?
Yeah.
Just so you know, that stuff does not have to be verbatim.
All right, we got
You
it.
should know that, you do know that. I'm just saying, if we can tweak that or whatever a little bit, we know what's going on
Yeah.
here.
We as a committee though should make sure that the minutes are.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we need to approve when they come out.
Yeah, that's why I try to get it out contact you guys, so if you do
I'm
have
talking
anything,
about the filler
let
work.
me know.
The core concept is we are selecting Berkheimer for the 7-year contract to be sent to the solicitor.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Everybody's in favor.
I raise, no,
He was
no,
like,
I will raise.